Chris Carter right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Let's get to some stuff that took place. I wouldn't say on the field, but indirectly it is, because when you're getting paid, for $60 million a year, you sign a $240 million contract, you become the highest paid player in the history of the National Football League. That's got something to do, obviously, with what takes place on the field. Dak Prescott, star quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. He's got that contract. How'd you feel about it?
I felt great about it. I just wish Jerry Jones would have dropped you a little dime last week when you was talking to him, because the deal was already done then. There is no way that they don't have these parameters already in place when you know you're going to Cleveland. You know Deshaun Watson is part of the conversation because you're trying to get one more dollar than his $230 million that he had guaranteed. So Jerry wanted to control the news cycle. He believes he's got a good team, and they will eventually get Michael Parsons signed. But this is about Jerry rewarding one of his great players. And this is what he's always done. He rewarded Michael, he rewarded Troy. He was a little slow on Emmett, but if you look at Jerry loves his players, and he will pay him.
Well, see, you and we butted heads on this particular issue for years, so we're going to put it out on Front Street in front of everybody. First of all, Jerry Jones did tell me, he just asked me not to say anything because it wasn't finalized, and he didn't want anything to get in the way. But I knew that they were close. I knew they were going to have Dak Prescott signed before opening day on that Sunday. But you say he deserves it. Listen, he does. I'm not fretting the fact that he got his money. He deserves it based on his regular season work. But CC, the man has not produced in the postseason. And you never bring that up the way I do anyway. You never do that. And I'm like, he got 2 playoff victories in 8 years, man. $60 million, CC. Come on, man.
If you look at the top 10 quarterbacks, only a handful of them have had playoff success. We know Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes only got beaten by a couple people, one being Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's been to 1 Super Bowl. We know my man in Buffalo. People called him this offseason the most overrated player in the NFL. Now, I don't think so. But what makes all these other players outside Patrick Mahomes deserve their $50 million? With Trevor Lawrence, what has he done since Clemson? Has he been so clutch? Yeah, he won a playoff game, but that is not the pure measure of a quarterback playing today. Tua, what has he done? So now you're going to move the marker because it's Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys? No. Dak Prescott is a better quarterback and has proven himself more than those other guys have. And it was his turn. He waited. He played it right. He had the ultimate leverage, couldn't be franchised, couldn't be traded. So you had to pay him. And Jerry knew that he had to keep the quarterback. So you had the perfect storm for this record-breaking contract.
See, I get where you're coming from. I'm looking at a 1-3 career record on home playoff games, 2-5 in playoff games. I think only Kirk Cousins is worse, but I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let it go because, damn it, I guess what I'm saying is the $60 million. Had he gotten the 55 that Joe Burrow, Jordan Love, Trevor Lawrence had gotten, I wouldn't have said a word. It's the $60 million, highest paid in NFL history, and I'm like, damn, he can't even get to an NFC Championship game. But I digress. I want to get into Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns because I didn't expect them to get their ass kicked the way that they did yesterday. Matter of fact, I expected them to win, but they lost, and they lost convincingly so. Was that a product of the Cowboys and how good the Cowboys are, or is it indications of how bad we should expect the Cleveland Browns to be because their quarterback ain't what he used to be from his days in Houston? Your thoughts?
Well, your last statement, the quarterback is not the quarterback that we saw in Houston. That's 100% clear and accurate. Now, I'm glad we weren't doing the show yesterday because yesterday I probably would have cut him. I was distraught. I have not seen a player that has dominated in college and had 4 dominant seasons in the NFL at the quarterback position. This is not Carson Wentz. North Dakota State have a good, 12 games in Philadelphia. No, this dude, Dabo Swinney called him the next Michael Jordan.
Right.
This dude had charisma. This dude had confidence. This dude had elite leadership skills. Man, 5 or 6 teams, remember Miami was tampering with him. A couple other teams were tampering to try to trade for him. I just have not seen a guy that has that type of ability lose his confidence, lose his mojo, and it's affected his throwing ability. There were several easy throws. I'm talking about college throws that he struggled with in yesterday's game. So not only have the injuries taken its toll on him mentally, I believe his throwing motion is a little bit different. I heard your boy Dan Orlowski talking about him, but they just wouldn't say it. He is not a good quarterback right now. Now, I would not go to Jameis Winston, who was the backup there in Cleveland. But if I'm the head coach, if I'm the general manager in Cleveland, if I'm the owner, I'm getting ready to have a real conversation, because the more you keep him out there, the more you have to answer to a playoff caliber defense and special team that they might not be able to get there because of one player. And you can't let one player hold back an organization.
I'm looking at the fact that they were missing two starting offensive linemen. They certainly don't have Nick Chubb, who's out for the first 4 games due to his knee injury. But I'm also looking at this, CC. Deshaun Watson, NFL ranks among 45 quarterbacks with 300-plus pass attempts over the last 2 seasons. He ranks 41st in completion percentage. There are only 32 teams in the NFL. Only 32 starters. He ranks 41st in completion percentage, 36th in yards per attempt, 37th in passer ratings. It's one of those situations, man, where he stepped away from the game, self-inflicted wounds in terms of his behavior off the field that we don't need to get into. But I cannot believe how much he has slid. I've got people looking at his offensive coordinator saying Ken Dorsey, new system. Yep. He got to adapt to that. Maybe, Stefanski should take over the play calling. That's not what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a brother that don't have the swag, the confidence, the moxie that he once had. And if I'm seeing that, what are the players? What are his teammates seeing?
It's a terrifying thing, because with all that guaranteed money, if I'm in the locker room, if I'm Amari Cooper, or if I'm the tight end, or if I'm Chubb, they don't have long-term guaranteed money like that. So I'm more likely to keep my mouth shut, because this dude got guaranteed money no matter if he play or not. So I don't think you're going to ever get the truth out of Cleveland unless you talk to Myles Garrett or something like that, and he decides that he gets frustrated and he lets the cat out the bag. But that's the way NFL locker rooms are. They will hide this information, but this is a playoff caliber team. We saw Joe Flacco. He wasn't bagging groceries, but he was sitting at the crib. He came off the sofa and was slinging it and got this team into the playoffs. And Deshaun is just a shell of himself. When Joe Flacco is better than you off the couch, you need to start looking at things a little bit